It's some 36 minutes after 6. It's now time for us to tell you what's trending. So we're here at myjoyonline.com. I'm going to be telling you what the newspapers are reporting. Roland would share with you some of the topical headlines today in the news. Yeah? So I go ahead with the newspapers. All right. So here we go with what the Daily Graphic is reporting today. Azoka Bamba Boys to be disbanded. Invisible forces, Bolga Bulldogs will not be spared. So a security expert, Emmanuel Sowati, says it is time politicians stopped using vigilantes in political activities, as there are repercussions that go beyond politics. Also, barring any last-minute intervention, we're told that the state insurance company SIC is set to lose its assets as a result of a 232 million Ghana cedis debt it owes Ivory Finance Company Limited. We'll see that. We'll see how that goes. Stay clear of 51 unaccredited institutions. So 51 tertiary institutions which offer admissions to students to study courses do not have accreditation to do so, the National Accreditation Board has said. You might want to find the Daily Graphic and read a lot more about it, especially if you have children who are attending some tertiary institution. You want to know if they are accredited or not. Also, workers protest worsening economic situation. Scores of workers yesterday demonstrated in Tema against what they called the worsening economic situation in the country. These are some of the headlines captured in the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let's move on to the Daily Guide. I can't be sacked. That's what the Interior Minister seemed to be saying. So embattled Interior Minister Makwayongo has called the bluff of those calling for his comments on the recent bloody attacks during the Talensi by-election. 13,000 workers lose jobs over doom. So about 2,000 members of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union Ghana have expressed anger at what they describe as mismanagement of the country's economy by governments. Also, 4 killed, Bimbila over meats. 2.1 billion Ghana cedis cash chopped. Members of parliaments from both sides of the House were yesterday overawed by the extent of misappropriation and malfeasance in most public institutions and public companies. But the point is, they make all these great discoveries, these criminal acts, and then we leave it right there. Nothing happens. The Weekend Finder is reporting that government pays 200,000 Ghana cedis compensation to Francis Ejari. Who is Francis Ejari? After 14 years behind bars without trial, Francis Ejari can now start a new life after claims awarded to him by the Human Rights Court against the state have finally been paid. Also, no dentists in Upper East and West regions. This is not good at all. Chief Dental Officer of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Constance Adeyobo, has revealed that there are no dentists in the Upper East and Upper West regions. Can you believe that? The General Telegraph next. Missing $4 million mystery deepens. Also, police to investigate NDC, NPP. We'll end with the BNFT, the Business and Financial Times. Uncertainty clouds SIC operations as Judgment Day looms. Tamale Airport ready by December. And the European Union has issued some 332 alerts to Ghana of 2 months this year, creating a huge concern for policymakers as the EU bloc remains the country's single biggest market for non-traditional exports. So now you know what some of the newspapers are reporting. You can get to the newsstands, but what have you got for us?
Okay, it's very interesting on the news portal myjoyonline.com, and you get there was violence from across the political divide, and the Interior Minister Makwayongo being quoted there as to what really how he reacted to the news, and it generated a lot of controversy, especially his speech about that violence beget violence.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, I was a bit surprised.
That he did?
Because, he was so relaxed when he was speaking. And at a point I was like, okay, is he aware that he's talking on air, like he's on radio, that a lot of people are listening to him?
You know, what he said was not wrong, but for a public official who especially also responsible for maintenance of security within our society, that was wrong, okay? So, and then there's the thing about that we always tell the politicians about political communication. You need to do the communication right. If you don't tell or send the right messages to the people, it's as if you're being complacent. Whilst maybe you're only saying it as it is. But if you're a politician, you just don't say it as it is.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
You have to put some kind of diplomacy in it.
Yes, you have to.
You know.
Yeah, and these are some of the things that they need to cut, so to speak. I won't say they have to learn, but they need to cut. Public institutions lose over 2.1 billion. So TB Joshua's church apparently is rejecting a coroner's report back in Nigeria that seemed to be indicting the church. It says that structurally the foundation for the structure that collapsed, well, was not good enough, was not the best as far as the standards are concerned. And Mama V, you can understand that the church says and keeps saying that it was because there was a plane hovering. I don't know how altitude of a plane can affect the collapse of a building. I'm sure then people around airports would have experienced a lot of those. But that's the state in which we're in. So we'll go in and look at some of the stories critically. And the public institutions losing over 2.1 billion Ghana cedis to financial irregularities or malfeasance. Mama, that should be taking a lot of our attention.
But what did you know, we'll talk about it. This is making huge headlines. Everybody is saying amazing, like seriously, but that's where it will end.
Yes, and we're told this is contained in the report of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament released on Thursday. And the report is also based on investigations by the Auditor General. It's quite a serious thing if you tend to look at, well, we will go for a supplementary loan to go and finish a project maybe somewhere in the central region of 3.9 million euros, whilst we're losing 2.1 billion Ghana cedis to irregularities, either because they've not been accounted for, people are embezzling, they are chopping. I mean, that's really resulting.
And nothing is happening to them.
Nothing really is happening. And some of the institutions named in the irregularities are the Accra Polytechnic, the Ghana Cocoa Board, ECG, MPA, GMPC, a number of them as well. And so it's the whole conglomerate of the public institutions we have. We'll look at the next story and then just give you a update so far. It's been confirmed now by the PRO of the Northern Region Police, ASP Beneza Tete, that at least we have 8 people who have been arrested by the police in the Northern Region. And that'll be it for the news summaries we have for the morning. That'll be it. Okay, we have also state attorneys striking, and that has entered week 2 as talks so far seem to have ended in a deadlock. And so please make sure you log on to the news portal myjoyonline.com, and we'll get a lot more updates. The strike action in week 1, entering week 2 from next week, that is, if by the close of the day it's not been resolved.
Yeah.
You should be an attorney and be striking off.
I should? No, I don't know. But there's also the other side of the arguments that before they accepted the appointments, was this the conditions of service that existed? Because you knew what you were going in for. So if you don't like it, just back out instead of strike. Well,
the thing too is, even though you're a lawyer and people in private practice maybe earning a lot more, you should know you are doing public service. You know, you're working for the taxpayer. So, so the taxpayer's budget.
So your life should be at risk. So you shouldn't have pension. Well, because there are very critical issues that they are raising. You know, and they deserve all the things that they are asking for.
Well,
seriously.
We all do deserve a lot of things, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
So that'll be it. And myself and Mama V Osabuaje will now turn our attention to sports now. And, well, we're going to have...
Check out what I have here. Check out.
Right.
Yeah.
Wimbledon, and we have this... Andrew Murray meets Roger Federer for the final sport?
No, for the semi-finals. I mean, they have to decide who's going to...
They'll be playing that today. I think the men's final will be played on Sunday.
Yes, but they are playing the semi-final. So Djokovic is in action, Andy Murray and Roger Federer are also in action.
They are meeting.
But can I talk about yesterday?
What happened?
Because Serena, my girl, she gave it to Sharapova like she always does.
And you know the good thing about it? There's an intricate story about it. You know the current boyfriend of Sharapova was a former boyfriend of Serena. And Serena always just gets in powers. Oh, no, Jimmy boyfriend. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the fun of it.
Okay, so this is just the tip of the iceberg. Kwame Juma has got a lot more details, and I think he's got something on Asamoah Gyan as well. So stay with us. More sports here on our show.
We'll be right back.